Anyway, speaking of how we're hardwired, let's get into this conflict thing because so many people would try to drag me in. Oh, who do you stand with? If you go on social media, you're going to start seeing on Facebook probably I stand with, and then some flag of whoever they stand with. You saw it with the Russian-Ukraine conflict. You're seeing it all over Twitter X now. Um, one side is trending with Israel, the other side is trending with Palestine, and it's flipping back and forth all day long. It's pretty clear to me at this point that both sides have done some shitty things. And the point that I want to get at with this cast is they always try to suck you in. When I say they, there's us and then them. They are on the perimeter, they're on the outside. They want to suck you in and get you uh, interested and caring about things that, generally speaking, you shouldn't really care about. Let me explain. So I dug up, this isn't the chart that I wanted to find, but I dug up this chart here. Let me share it up on the screen here. Share screen. This is, what is this called? Animation, how Europe, no, this isn't the European map, 600 years of war. So this is the 600 years of war and peace. Here it is. So this is global deaths and conflicts since the year 1400. So the point of this map is on the bottom axis here, you've got the years, the 1400, all the way up to the recent time, 2000s. And on the left axis here, you've got the rate of deaths per 100,000 people. Okay. You can see the rate of deaths per 100,000 people has pretty much stayed relatively consistent. There's been some peaks and some valleys. There's been some wars that have created more deaths than others. But throughout history, one thing is very, very common, and this is only in the last 600 years, by the way. There's another video that I want to show you, which I'm just going to kind of play in the background as I'm talking for frame reference, because there's no audio. It's really just how the European map has changed. We'll get to that in a second. But what you'll notice here on this map is there's a lot of dots. Each one of those dots represents a conflict. Most of these aren't labeled. If I go to the top ones over here where there's a lot of deaths involved and the conflict lasted for a long period of time, you can start to see some of the, like this is the 30-year war over here. This is the period of the 100-year war over here. Peasants' war in, I can't even, Saxons, I think it says. There's all these different wars. All the big ones anyway are all labeled until you get up to World War I, World War II, and it looks like World War II had the largest number of casualties in total. And we haven't seen a world war like that of World War II since. This was a very traumatic time for our grandparents and great grandparents. My granddad, I guess, grew up in both those wars. My dad was born at the end of the Second World War, so this period of time must have been like just fucking like conflict after conflict, dealing with zone after zone. Because I remember my granddad telling me stories. He used to South Africa, Gibraltar, Singapore, Hong Kong. He was with the Royal Air Force, so they moved him around a lot. But all of these conflicts, they've been going on since the beginning of time. Is a point that I've been trying to make. And the 1400s are not the beginning of time. This is just the beginning of this particular map. There are data points in other maps that go even further back, but the common denominator is there's just dots everywhere. It's just covered in literally dots everywhere. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on forever. So, I mean, the first thing that you got to understand is this ain't going to stop. No matter how much they want to suck you into caring about what's happening over there, it's not going to stop. You caring about it isn't going to change much. Them trying to suck you into the idea of who's right or wrong or what side to stand on isn't going to change anything. Let them suss it out. It's gotten to the point where when people ask me, for my opinion on things like this and that and the other thing, it's like, how about we just stop either printing money or taking taxpayer money and sending it over in other places when we've got a world of issues that are going on in our own backyards here in North America. I mean, we've got people walking into stores and shoplifting with zero consequences whatsoever. They're telling employees not to deal with it, let them walk out. And if they try to stop them, they're going to fire them, right? Because they've got legal issues tied around that. You got wokeness issues they want you to care about if you don't use somebody's correct pronouns. They want you to care about all these things locally here, and many of them don't even matter, by the way. It's like there's core issues that actually matter, but they're trying to distract you with issues that don't matter, or issues on the other side of the world, or the other pond, or that continent, or this continent, or that part of the equator, or whatever. They keep trying to suck us in, is what I'm getting at, okay? And it's an unfortunate scenario. It sucks that it's happening. People it is inevitable that people will die. It's always been that way throughout history, as, we see here with this chart. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you wanna watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.